with the exposure that you've had in art of coaching with a number of the workshops and the way you guys go about things, is there anything in your coaching career, and it may only be the past 12 months because of the art of coaching, but are there things that you've done that are quite unique that have actually helped you as a coach that you can look back and go, I wouldn't have thought that would help me, but it actually has? Especially, we talked about young female coaches trying to find their own persona and their own energy. Now, we've just said improv is one of those ways to start to get people on their toes, to learn how to react and respond. Are there any things that you look back now in your career and go, you know what, I didn't think about it, but these couple of things were really, really beneficial for me as a coach and potentially recommend for younger coaches?
Yeah, that's a great question. As you were saying that, I was kind of just racking my brain. I think something that many females struggle with this, and I know this not because I'm just generalizing, but because they literally come into my DMs and ask me this question, which is, how do I develop my leadership voice as a female? And something that I think I did on the earlier side of my career that helped me with this was to write and to put, it was a very informal blog, but I started by just like blogging, and just like the sheer obstacle of having to put something of yours out online to be kind of judged by other coaches, I think helped me refine what I wanted to say and refine my tone and my voice and like what I stand for. And then that developed into a podcast later on, which I've paused temporarily. But it's not actually about strength and conditioning. It's about lateral thinking and how to draw on other topics from engineering and science and art to come back into training, and how those disparate domains can actually make you a better coach. But that's kind of an aside. Just the doing things that are kind of outside of coaching that would allow me to be a better coach and to refine that voice, because I was going to all the seminars, I was going to the workshops, I was going to the training things, I was getting the certifications that you needed, and none of those set me apart because everybody else was doing them. So I reached laterally, and I picked up writing, and I picked up photography, because our at Kansas, like, we needed somebody to take pictures. So it was sort of in these like peripheral skills that I was developing that kind of I look back on as differentiators as my time as a coach.
How can she find her voice when working with physio patients, but then also she has to work with players on the field as when she does the sports medicine side of it, and then also in the gym when she has to put on another hat to now become an S&C coach? What are some things that you've learned along the way, and especially that you just referenced before, some of the lateral thinking, things that she could potentially draw from and other female coaches that may be stuck in the same situation to really inspire them to maybe take the next step in their career?
I think something that I wish that somebody else had told me, which draws back to on our earlier conversation, is that there's no one way that you have to be as a female coach. If you are loud and have a physical presence, great. If you're not, also great. But that's going to take just a different skill set. So I think it's getting super self-aware about what you're good at and what you enjoy, and finding intersections there, and then trying on different hats and like seeing what feels good. I think we as young coaches start with one narrative of how we're going to do it, and it evolves slightly as we go, but we never give ourselves the opportunity to try different voices on or different styles on. So I think actually getting to work with many different coaches and many different types of athletes and populations is the best thing you can do as a young coach, because it forces you to change the way that you coach. And you might just find that, when I'm coaching kids and I have to use more metaphors and analogies and be a little sillier and a little bit lighter, maybe that's really what resonates most with me and it feels most natural. Or maybe it's like having that kind of locker room banter with the guys that really does feel great. And maybe that's where, that's where my qualities and my strengths lie. But even when you find that, doesn't mean that you can't apply it and change and adapt to different populations. It's just a matter of trying different things and being okay with the fact that you haven't found the one yet, and not like pigeonholing yourself into one narrow set definition of female coach.